If you love sci-fi worlds packed with danger, mystery, and deep stories, you're in the right place. Today we'll explore 12 incredible indie RPGs that blend technology, emotion, and strategy in unique ways. Games you definitely need to play at least once in your life. Cloudpunk is a narrative-driven adventure set in a massive cyberpunk city called Nivalis. You play as Rania, a delivery driver working for a semi-legal courier company that takes jobs others refuse. The game mixes exploration, storytelling, and atmosphere rather than combat, creating one of the most immersive urban sci-fi worlds in indie gaming. This is an open-world story adventure, where you fly your hover car between layers of the city, from the foggy streets at the bottom to the glittering towers high above the clouds. Each area feels alive, filled with neon lights, traffic, and characters with their own stories. You can land, walk around, and interact with people, discovering side quests and moral choices that slowly reveal how fragile this futuristic society really is. The narrative changes depending on your decisions. You meet humans, androids, and artificial intelligences, each questioning their place in a world ruled by corporations and algorithms. The writing is excellent, emotional, grounded, and often surprisingly human. Combined with the synthwave soundtrack, it creates an atmosphere that feels both lonely and beautiful. While the game doesn't feature traditional RPG combat or leveling, it captures that same sense of progression through exploration and empathy. As Rania, you grow not in strength, but in understanding of the city, of its people, and of yourself. Cloudpunk is a must-play for fans of story-rich sci-fi adventures who enjoy exploring worlds that feel truly alive. Encased is a deep, story-driven tactical RPG inspired by the classic Fallout and Wasteland games. Set in an alternate 1970s, it throws you inside the Dome, a mysterious, impenetrable structure discovered in a remote desert. Once inside, there's no way out, and humanity's brightest minds are sent to study its strange artifacts and alien technology. What begins as a scientific mission quickly spirals into a desperate fight for survival after a catastrophic event known as the Incident. The game offers complete freedom from the start. You choose your background: scientist, engineer, soldier, convict, or corporate worker, each with unique perks and dialogue options. Conversations are detailed and reactive, allowing multiple outcomes based on your skills, moral choices, and alliances. Every encounter can be solved through combat, diplomacy, or clever manipulation, and the world reacts accordingly. Exploration is central to Encased. You'll scavenge abandoned research facilities, radiation-filled wastelands, and underground complexes where strange anomalies warp reality. Combat is turn-based and highly tactical, rewarding smart use of cover, gadgets, and energy weapons. Over time, you'll upgrade implants, craft high-tech gear, and unlock psionic powers that blur the line between science and mysticism. What makes Encased stand out is its writing. Mature, philosophical, and often darkly funny. It explores themes of human greed, isolation, and our obsession with knowledge, wrapped in a rich, retro-futuristic aesthetic full of CRT screens, synth music, and Cold War vibes. If you love classic isometric RPGs with weighty choices and world-shaping consequences, Encased is one of the finest modern entries in the genre. Star Renegades is a turn-based, roguelite strategy RPG that fuses gorgeous pixel art with intense tactical depth. Developed by Massive Damage, it takes place in a procedurally generated sci-fi universe where rebellion is the only way to survive against a relentless interdimensional empire. Every run feels like a desperate campaign. You're not just fighting battles, you're resisting extinction itself. The combat system is one of its strongest features. Every turn becomes a puzzle where you manipulate the timeline, interrupt enemy attacks, and exploit weaknesses before they strike. It's not about raw strength, but anticipation and precision, reading your enemies and countering at the perfect moment. The synergy between your squad members is vital. Tanks can protect allies, assassins delay attacks, and snipers deliver devastating critical hits when timed correctly. Outside combat, Star Renegades introduces a dynamic relationship system. As your party travels across alien worlds, characters bond, argue, and even fall in love, unlocking powerful combo attacks called duos. It gives the game a sense of personality and emotional depth rarely seen in tactical RPGs. And when you inevitably fall, because you will, the game's nemesis system promotes enemy officers who defeated you, making each new run feel personal and reactive. The presentation is stunning. Its pixel art is alive with color and movement, blending 2D sprites with cinematic lighting and parallax effects. The synth-heavy soundtrack complements the rebellious tone perfectly, giving each battle an epic sense of urgency. Every failure teaches you something new, a strategy, a build, or simply the will to push forward. That's what makes Star Renegades so rewarding. It's not about escaping the loop, but mastering it. Space Wreck is a retro-inspired, isometric sci-fi RPG that feels like a spiritual successor to classic Fallout games, but set in the cold silence of space. You play as a scavenger sent to recover vital ship parts from a derelict vessel drifting in orbit after humanity's collapse. What begins as a routine mission quickly becomes a fight for survival, where diplomacy, hacking, stealth, or violence can decide your fate. Every skill matters, and every choice reshapes the outcome in unexpected ways. The developers describe it as short, difficult, and replayable. There are no quest markers or tutorials, only freedom and consequence. You can talk your way out of danger, disable enemies through engineering, or simply fight your way through. But success isn't guaranteed. Failing a dialogue check or a repair attempt can open completely new storylines, turning mistakes into opportunities. Each playthrough lasts only a few hours, but the branching design makes every run unique. You might become a calm negotiator solving conflicts through logic, or a desperate scavenger taking what you need by force. The world constantly reacts to your skills and personality, rewarding creative thinking instead of combat alone. Visually, Space Wreck uses detailed isometric environments with gritty pixel characters, perfectly fitting its claustrophobic sci-fi tone. The writing mixes dark humor with moral ambiguity, pulling you into a world where survival means bending your own code. It's small in scope, but few games deliver such reactive storytelling and pure old-school charm in so little time. There's something special about Dex. It doesn't rush to impress you with explosions or over-the-top cutscenes. It draws you in slowly, like a walk through a neon-soaked alley in the rain. Set in the sprawling cyberpunk city of Harbor Prime, you play as Dex, a hacker on the run from a powerful corporation that wants her erased. She doesn't know why, and that mystery, that feeling of being hunted yet unstoppable, drives the entire game. At its core, Dex is a side-scrolling action RPG that blends 2D exploration, storytelling, and real-time combat. You can approach missions in your own way, sneak quietly through vents, knock out guards with precise strikes, or hack into systems to turn the city against your enemies. Every building hides secrets, every computer tells a story, and every choice shapes your path. The hacking system is a highlight. When you enter cyberspace, the game transforms into a fast-paced digital battlefield where you dodge firewalls and battle AI defenses to unlock doors or uncover classified data. Your upgrades and skills, hacking, persuasion, stealth, or raw combat, define how you survive in this corrupt city. What makes Dex unforgettable isn't just its gameplay, but its mood. The glowing blues, the grimy streets, the pulsing synth soundtrack, everything screams old-school cyberpunk. It's dark, lonely, and full of life at the same time. For anyone who loves stories about rebellion, freedom, and technology gone too far, Dex is an essential experience. Small, stylish, and full of heart. Before Obsidian became part of Xbox and expanded its reach, The Outer Worlds began as a true indie project, a smaller, focused space RPG built by veterans who simply wanted to bring back the feeling of old-school, choice-driven adventures. And against all odds, they nailed it. Despite being modest in scale, the first game captured everything players loved about Fallout: player freedom, dark humor, and the thrill of shaping a chaotic future on your own terms. Set in the Halcyon colony, a distant world ruled entirely by corporations, you awaken from cryosleep to find a civilization where people are treated more like assets than humans. From there, you're free to become whoever you want: a smooth talker who manipulates every outcome, a reckless gunslinger, or a scientist experimenting with bizarre gadgets. The world constantly reacts to your choices, making every decision feel weighty and personal. Its universe is packed with absurd satire and surprising emotion. Every colony tells a story about capitalism gone mad, and your companions, from rebellious engineers to overzealous preachers, bring depth and conflict to every mission. Dialogues are witty and sharp, often making you laugh one moment and question morality the next. Combat mixes fluid shooting with time-slowing abilities, while exploration rewards curiosity with hidden experiments, political conspiracies, and moral dilemmas. While it never tries to compete with massive AAA releases, The Outer Worlds stands out through clever writing, personality, and player agency. It proves that ambition doesn't always require a huge budget. Sometimes, it just needs creativity and heart. Death Trash is one of those rare indie games that feels like a lost classic from another timeline. A handcrafted fusion of post-apocalyptic horror, dark humor, and old-school role-playing depth. Developed almost entirely by a single creator, it's set in a grim world where flesh covers the ground, machines have gone mad, and humanity clings to survival in the weirdest ways imaginable. The game drops you into the wasteland with no introductions, no tutorials, and no pity. You play as an outcast wandering a ruined planet full of mutants, cultists, and cosmic horrors. Every encounter can go in multiple directions. Fight, talk, steal, or puke your way out. Because yes, vomiting is actually a mechanic here. It's grotesque, funny, and oddly human, all at the same time. Visually, Death Trash embraces detailed pixel art with a desaturated palette that perfectly captures its decayed tone. Every location feels like a forgotten shrine to human failure. Rusted metal, rotting flesh, and neon signs flickering over despair. Beneath the grotesque surface, however, lies a game that values freedom. You can choose who to trust, which quests to pursue, and whether to confront or befriend the monstrous gods that haunt the world. Combat is real-time, brutal, and personal, mixing guns, blades, and psychic powers. But the real strength of Death Trash lies in its atmosphere, a mix of unsettling beauty and existential sadness that's hard to shake off once you've played it. It's an experience that feels both ancient and fresh, brutal and poetic, a tribute to the golden age of CRPGs and a bold reinvention of what indie sci-fi storytelling can be. The Captain is a pixel art space adventure that blends exploration, strategy, and emotional storytelling in a way few games manage. You play as Captain Thomas Wellmu, a scientist stranded on the far side of the galaxy, desperately trying to make it back to Earth before it's destroyed by an approaching doomsday weapon. And it's a simple premise, but the journey is anything but. Every planet you visit presents a moral dilemma or survival challenge. Do you save a dying colony, or steal their fuel to keep your ship running? Do you risk your crew to rescue strangers, or prioritize the mission at all costs? Every decision affects not only your fate, but also the universe around you, leading to multiple possible outcomes. The gameplay mixes point-and-click exploration, ship management, and tactical combat. You'll travel through star systems, trade resources, repair your vessel, and engage in short, intense battles. But the focus is always on choices and consequences. There's no perfect route home, only compromises that reflect who you've become along the way. Visually, the Captain channels a nostalgic 90s PC adventure feel, with stunning pixel art planets, expressive characters, and surprisingly cinematic scenes. The soundtrack adds to the melancholy tone, giving each encounter weight and emotion. It's not about saving the galaxy in grand fashion, it's about the quiet, desperate fight to do the right thing when time is running out. Thoughtful, touching, and often darkly funny, The Captain stands as one of the most memorable indie sci-fi adventures of recent years. Disjunction is a cyberpunk stealth action RPG that takes you deep into the underbelly of a fractured future New York. The year is 2048, and society is on the brink of collapse. Crime runs rampant, corporations control the city, and ordinary citizens struggle to survive in the ruins of a once great metropolis. You control 3 different protagonists, each with unique abilities and intertwined stories. A hard-boiled private investigator, a cybernetically enhanced hacker, and a former boxer turned underground rebel. Their paths cross in a web of corruption, murder, and moral ambiguity, and the way you handle their missions can shape how the story unfolds. Gameplay blends stealth, action, and RPG decision-making. You can sneak through enemy territory using cloaking devices and takedowns, or go in guns blazing with cybernetic upgrades. Every mission offers multiple paths, lethal or non-lethal, aggressive or diplomatic, and your choices have lasting consequences for the characters and the city itself. Visually, Disjunction nails the retro-futuristic atmosphere with detailed pixel art, bathed in neon blues and purples, perfectly matched by a pulsing synth soundtrack that keeps the tension high. Beneath its stylish exterior, though, lies a game that asks tough questions about morality, identity, and the illusion of freedom in a world ruled by technology. Whether you prefer silent infiltration or chaotic firefights, Disjunction rewards smart play and thoughtful decision-making. It's gritty, compact, and full of cyberpunk personality. A perfect fit for players who love stealth-driven sci-fi stories that challenge both reflexes and conscience. Colony Ship is one of those rare RPGs that truly understands what it means to start from nothing and fight for every inch of progress. Set aboard a massive generation ship sent from Earth centuries ago, the game unfolds within the decaying corridors of a society that has long forgotten its original mission. Humanity's descendants are trapped in political chaos, faction wars, and desperate survival as the ship drifts endlessly through space, far from any real planet. Developed by Iron Tower Studio, the same creators behind the Age of Decadence, this game brings back the spirit of old-school CRPGs like Fallout and Arcanum. Every decision has weight, and dialogue is as powerful as a gun. You can talk, sneak, or fight your way through most situations, but every path has consequences. Choose sides between factions like the Church of the Elect, the Protectors of the Mission, or the Brotherhood of Liberty. Or betray them all in pursuit of your own survival. Combat is fully turn-based and brutally tactical. Mistakes are punished, resources are scarce, and even the smallest victory feels earned. Characters aren't heroes. They're scavengers, mercenaries, and outcasts. You'll build your team carefully, shaping each member through a deep skill and stat system that rewards creativity as much as efficiency. The writing is sharp and morally gray, painting a world where idealism has long died and only pragmatism remains. The world building is dense, told through conversations, rumors, and scraps of lore hidden in terminals. It's not a flashy game, it's a thoughtful, atmospheric one, meant for players who crave immersion and consequence over spectacle. Colony Ship proves that you don't need a massive budget to build an unforgettable world. Just depth, choice, and the courage to trust your players. Shadowrun Returns is a perfect blend of cyberpunk grit and fantasy magic. A world where megacorporations rule, hackers manipulate digital ghosts, and elves and trolls share the same neon-lit streets. Developed by Harebrained Schemes, this game revived the beloved Shadowrun universe in a tactical, story-driven format that instantly became a cult favorite among RPG fans. Set in a dystopian Seattle, you play as a Shadowrunner, a mercenary who takes on dangerous jobs for money, power, or survival. From the very first mission, you're thrown into a murder mystery that quickly spirals into corporate conspiracies, forbidden rituals, and a fight against forces both human and supernatural. The writing is sharp, filled with noir-style dialogue and moral ambiguity that perfectly matches the world's tone. Gameplay mixes turn-based tactical combat with deep RPG progression. You can specialize as a street samurai, decker, hacker, mage, shaman, or a blend of all of them. Each role brings unique approaches to battles and exploration, whether summoning spirits to fight for you, hacking systems mid-combat, or using brute force to smash through obstacles. Every mission offers multiple paths depending on your build and choices. The visuals, though modest, are beautifully stylized, capturing rainy streets, flickering neon, and grim alleyways full of atmosphere. The soundtrack enhances the tension, balancing futuristic beats with moody tones that feel straight out of a 90s cyberpunk film. While it's a smaller scale game, Shadowrun Returns shines through its storytelling and immersive setting. It reminds players that what matters most in an RPG isn't flashy graphics or endless maps, but meaningful choices, strong characters, and a world that feels alive with danger and mystery. Star Traders Frontiers is an ambitious sci-fi sandbox RPG that lets you live any life you can imagine among the stars. Developed by Tracy Brothers, it's a massive open universe experience where every choice shapes your legacy. Whether you're a trader, pirate, bounty hunter, smuggler, or military captain, it blends deep simulation with role-playing freedom in a way that feels both personal and limitless. The game drops you into a procedurally generated galaxy filled with warring factions, political intrigue, and shifting economies. You command your own customizable starship and crew, managing morale, supplies, and loyalty as you travel from one system to another. Every planet holds opportunities and dangers, from trade routes and contracts to espionage, exploration, and combat encounters. What really makes Star Traders Frontiers shine is its incredible depth. The tactical turn-based ship battles demand strategic thinking, while the ground combat focuses on positioning and team synergy. You can upgrade every crew member with specific jobs and abilities, shaping them into an elite team or a desperate band of survivors barely holding things together. The writing and world building are surprisingly rich. Each faction has its own ideology and goals, and your choices, alliances, betrayals, deals, or assassinations permanently affect galactic politics. You can rise to fame, fall into infamy, or retire peacefully after a life of adventure. It's not a flashy game, but it rewards imagination and planning. Few RPGs give you this much control over who you become and how the galaxy remembers you. For fans of space strategy, simulation, and story-driven freedom, Star Traders Frontiers is a must-play. Some of these games aren't pure RPGs, but they all carry that same creative soul: exploration, choice, and discovery. Each one brings a unique sci-fi vision worth diving into. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and share your favorite in the comments. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.